Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. Cameroon's Communication Minister Issa Bakari says Cameroonian and Nigerian troops have killed 162 insurgents after taking a key base of Boko Haram in northeast Nigeria. Speaking in Yaoundé, he said that the assault against the insurgents in Goshe near the Cameroonian border lasted from Thursday till Sunday. Meanwhile, troops of the Nigerian army in Operation Lafia Dole have carried out raids, patrols, cordon and search operations in a bid to clear remnants of Boko Haram terrorists in their respective areas of operations. A statement released by Colonel Sani Usman, Army spokesperson, said the troops also rescued 350 people held hostage by the terrorists. Among those rescued were 5 girls abducted from Cameroon. The federal government has said the recent spate of attacks by Boko Haram is not an indication of any resurgence by the Boko Haram terrorists, insisting that the group remains largely decimated. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said anyone familiar with the details of insurgency would not be surprised by the recent attacks.
Boko Haram has dislodged from their occupied territories. Thousands of their captives have been set free. Their capacity to operate as a troop, moving in comfort of vehicles and motorcycles to launch attacks on communities and military formation has been neutralized. In essence, some dishonest and effectively denied territory or sanctuary and are now in Zaire. They are today scattered, demoralized, and hungry. They are therefore resorted to terror tactics available to the degraded and defeated insurgents. It hurts them to know that we know that they are decimated.
The United Nations has released $58 million to assist 2.4 million people affected by the Boko Haram insurgents in 2015. A document made available to newsmen by a UN official, Kate Pond, said the UN Central Emergency Response Fund (CERF) allocated the said amount from March 2015 till February 4, 2016. The document also explained that with the support of CERF, humanitarian partners had been providing life-saving assistance and protection for the most vulnerable people. The Nigeria Customs Service has intercepted a 45th container with 980 rounds of 9mm type live ammunition and a pistol imported into the country from the United States. Speaking of the Tinkan Island Command, Chris Osunkwo made the disclosure in a statement on Tuesday in Lagos. According to the statement, the area controller of the command, Bashar Yusuf, said the seizure, including camouflage military face cap, camouflage belt, a pair of hand gloves, and a pair of shoes were concealed, along with other personal effects, into vehicles. Yusuf said the arms and ammunition and a suspect, who was arrested in connection with the seizure, had been handed over to the Department of State Service for further interrogation. Nigerian lawmakers have asked the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC) to suspend the controversial 45% tariff hike following an outcry from Nigerians. Senate President Bukola Saraki, in a Facebook post, said this was part of the Senate's resolution during their plenary on Tuesday. According to the Senate President, the move became necessary because any increase in cost without necessary improvement in service delivery by the power companies was unacceptable. He added that power distribution companies must work to ensure that every establishment in Nigeria is provided with capabilities for metered billing. His comments come more than a week after workers under the aegis of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress embarked on a nationwide protest against the electricity tariff increase. Former Governor of Borno State, Ali Modu Sheriff, has been named as the new chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP. The National Caucus of the PDP appointed Sheriff on Tuesday. Sheriff and a former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Nuhu Ribadu, were major contenders in the race for the chairmanship. Sheriff takes over from Uche Secondus, who ran the party as interim chairman since the resignation of Ahmadu Muazu after the 2015 general election. The PDP is Nigeria's biggest opposition party and was defeated only in May 2015 after holding power for 16 years. The trial of former National Security Advisor Colonel Sambo Dasuki retired over alleged unlawful possession of firearms and money laundering stalled again on Tuesday. At the resumption of the case at the Federal High Court in Abuja, lawyer to Colonel Dasuki, Joseph Daudu, objected to the trial's commencement, saying his client had been permanently detained since December 29, 2015, even after perfecting his bail conditions. However, counsel to the federal government, Dikpo Okweseyi, opposed the motion. After deliberations, Justice Adini Adimola adjourned the case till March 3rd. The Nigerian government has identified the collaboration of the international community as crucial in the fight against corruption. While addressing a UK trade delegation who paid him a visit in Abuja, the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Usani Uguru, noted that the wave of cybercrime has made it more pertinent to seek the collaboration of the international community.
Today, globally, the wave of corruption is no longer localized, especially with the introduction of cybercrime. And this is the point at which the international community is very, very important as collaborating partners in fighting the corruption. And so this collective responsibility, being entrenched in our system by the collaboration you and we as a nation are seeking and entering into, will be of great essence and assistance to this country. Besides, we also believe that at the local level, the institutional capacities we are trying to entrench will also assist in fighting the corruption. Knowing that corruption is without physical boundaries, we are doing all we are doing, including the president's bilateral and multilateral engagements in reaching certain protocols and agreements with countries for fund repatriation, for zero tolerance in protection of crime-prone agents, whether as corporate organizations or individuals. The nation is doing a lot in that regard. And so for the Niger Delta, certain peculiar crimes are associated, which are kidnapping, pipeline vandalizations, and so on. The local approaches being adopted within the region are being taken in synergy of the Ministry of Petroleum, the Nigerian Navy, Civil Defense Corps, the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, the Niger Delta Development Commission, and other significantly relevant agencies in the region to be dealt with in such peculiar manners as they occur on the peculiarity of the region.
Chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Magu, has accused corrupt senior lawyers and journalists of trying to frustrate the war against corruption. Magu made the accusation when a coalition of civil society groups staged a solidarity protest in the EFCC headquarters in Abuja. He alleged that senior lawyers filed frivolous applications in court to delay justice after receiving bribes from corrupt individuals on trial. The FCC boss also said corrupt individuals were hiring journalists to abuse the commission and accuse it of not following the rule of law in the anti-corruption war. Obviously worried by the recent surge of fake and counterfeit products in Nigeria, the National Agency for Food and Drugs Administration and Control, NAFDAC, has called for the registration of all products, whether locally produced or imported, into the country. The regulatory agency said no product shall be manufactured, imported, exported, distributed, advertised, sold or used except it is registered in accordance with the provisions of NAFDAC.
We have a prime responsibility for ensuring the quality of NAFDAC-regulated products. That is our primary concern. But we do appreciate that in order to build small business, they have to understand our processes so that their products can meet the necessary standards. So whether you're talking about how the product is labeled, the composition, the facilities, we provide an inquiry point and a resource where they can come and get clarification, what they need to do to submit their documents, the minimum requirements on your label, what must exist in your facility, and all those kind of requirements, so that once they now prepare the package for submission, it is more likely to be a smoother process because they have understood what the requirements are. When you have laws that are more of a deterrent, that are more stringent, then people are less likely to counterfeit products, knowing that if they are caught and taken to court and convicted, they have a very stiff penalty, stiff sentences like the jail term we talked about. So it will tend to desist some people. There are still some that will be recalcitrant, but you reduce the number of people that will want to engage in those activities.
Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Ricky Tafa, has been arraigned by the EFCC before the Lagos High Court. Tafa was arraigned before Justice Aishat Okpesanwo on 2 counts of charge bordering on obstruction of justice. Tafa has been accused of hiding 2 financial crime suspects in his car to prevent the EFCC from arresting them. He was also accused of having an unlawful telephone conversation with the judge of the Federal High Court, Justice Mohammed Yunusa. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll look at more top stories. Stay tuned.
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching the Funny White Man Show, which is the biggest, the brightest, and the most entertaining show in Africa.
Funny white man, funny white man, funny white man, but this is where you talk, it's too much. Give me 5,000 man, that's you. It's too much. So you get it like, when she move along the street, yeah, me should like there, I'm going girl, you know, my own people, actually. Yeah, fine, it's fun, I enjoy it, and I'm one of those very few. I'm forever taking it personal. I will listen 160 million Nigerians are corrupt. How? My brother, I'm looking for you.
Yeah, but it's a growth, and this is the time to build business and know the pitfalls and know what to do and what not to do. But there are months where you get business and months.
You know how we do, how we train them. We did the way you did
Hello, you're welcome. You're watching Trending Matters on the Funny White Man Show. Of course, we will bring you trending issues just to entertain and tickle your fancy.
Welcome back. You're watching TV360 News now. The acute scarcity of foreign exchange, especially the United States dollar, has made the naira fall further to 352 against the greenback at the parallel market. Foreign exchange dealers said the increasing pressure on the naira is caused by high demand for the dollar by importers and speculators. The local currency had weakened to 345 at the parallel market on Monday, having hit 338 last Friday, as importers scrambled for the dollar to meet overseas obligations. The official rate, however, remained at 197 to the dollar. Nigeria's government is concerned that further depreciation will hurt poor Nigerians, but the bank's refusal to revise the pegged exchange rate has widened a gap between official rates and the parallel market. Oil and stocks steadied on Wednesday and the dollar eased as investors looked forward to less volatile trading. Brent crude was up 0.4% at $32.33 a barrel, while U.S. crude was up 0.2% at $29.11 a barrel. The recent oil price comes as oil ministers from 3 OPEC countries, Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Venezuela, as well as Russia, agreed to freeze oil output at January levels as long as others follow suit. The announcement came after the 4 ministers met in Doha on Tuesday and is designed to support the oil price, which has dropped sharply in recent months. Senegal's President Macky Sall said he will complete a 7-year mandate that runs until 2019, ditching a promise made during his election campaign to cut the term to 5 years. While the U-turn is not expected to destabilize the country, it could prove politically costly for Sall, who is widely expected to seek a second term. Senegal is viewed as a safeguard of democracy in Africa. Sall's statement also comes at a critical time when several other leaders across the continent have sought to extend their rule. Such actions have often triggered unrest, most recently in Burundi, where President Pierre Nkurunziza's decision to seek a third term has triggered months of violence, killing over 400 people. Moving on to sports, Nigeria has won the hosting rights for the 2016 Africa Beach Soccer Cup of Nations. This was confirmed in a letter by the Confederation of African Football (CAF) to the Nigerian Football Federation (NFF). CAF also stated that the competition will now be hosted every 2 years. The second edition of the African Beach Soccer Cup of Nations will be hosted in Lagos in December. It will also double as a qualifier for the 2017 Beach Soccer World Cup to be hosted in Bahamas. Super Falcons striker Asisat Oshoala is scheduled to speak at a FIFA Women Football and Leadership Conference as a guest speaker. The Liverpool ladies player is one of the female football stars, including US legend Abby Wambach and sports icon Billie Jean King, invited to speak at the event targeted at encouraging more women to join football. The gathering, which accords with the International Women's Day, will bring together diverse voices from sports and wider society to channel a roadmap in which women in football can be further promoted. Banned FIFA president Sepp Blatter visited the headquarters of soccer's governing body on Tuesday for a hearing to appeal against his 8-year suspension from the sport. Blatter, who is 79 years old, was banned in December along with European soccer boss Michel Platini over a payment of 2 million Swiss francs made to the Frenchman in 2011 by FIFA with Blatter's approval for work done a decade earlier. FIFA's Ethics Committee, which imposed the bans on Blatter and Platini, said the payment lacked transparency and presented conflict of interest. Both men have since denied any wrongdoing. We've come to the end of news now. Thank you very much for watching. I am Thelma Okoro.